When I started my coaching business, I had no email list, no following, no testimonials, and no idea what I was doing. And within 90 days, I signed my first 3 paying clients. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what I did to sign my first clients and how you can do the same, even if you're starting from zero. Now, before I go into these 3 steps, I want to break a myth and a limiting belief right out of the gate. And that is that I need more fill in the blank before I enroll a client. I need more followers. I need more of a website. I need a YouTube channel. I need a funnel. I need to run ads. I need a logo. I need a business plan. To sign your first 3 clients, you don't need any of that stuff. And if you are spending energy at this stage of your business without any clients on those things, you've misprioritized what the focus needs to be. So let's break the belief right now that you need anything before signing your first client, okay? Now, where do you start? Step 1 to signing your first client is to work your warm network first. It's almost certain that your first few clients are going to come from people who already know, like, and trust you. And so if you find that you're spending all of your time producing content, trying to attract strangers, then that's going to be the slower path to getting your first few clients. You almost always want to start with the people who already know who you are. Why? Because know, like, and trust takes time to develop. It could take 60, 90 days, 6 months, or even longer. Why would you waste your precious time in the beginning of your coaching business on that when you are now starting this as a side hustle and need to replace your income as fast as possible? It's not the best place to start. So here's what to do. There's a couple things that I'm going to share with you in this video on how to approach your network in a non-salesy way. But a simple, quick thing that you could do right out of the gate after watching this video today is to make an I'm excited or I'm thrilled to announce post. This is a post that announces that you're launching your coaching business. Sure, you may not know exactly what your niche is or what your offer is yet, but you do want to announce to your network that you're dipping your toe in the water and you're starting the game, all right? Because if you don't do that, then how in the world is anyone gonna know that you're coaching somebody, right? They're not. So make this post on your Facebook, make it on your Instagram, make it on your LinkedIn, whatever social media platforms that you have. And I would suggest prioritizing the ones that you have more connections and more friends on that one. And again, just this one post is not going to flood you with a bunch of clients. So keep in mind, client acquisition is a process, not an event. It's almost never a single event. It's a process. So it takes time. But when you make this announcement post, you're going to get some likes. You're going to get some comments. You may even get some direct messages. Those are the first few people that you want to follow up with and that you want to have a conversation with. Now, does that mean you go and you try to pitch them your coaching? Of course not. That's not why they engaged. But it's just to start the conversation so you get comfortable speaking about your coaching business. So that's step 1, is working your warm network first. Step 2 is to have 1 conversation per day. That's the goal. 1 conversation per day. Not posting every single day, not posting 3 times a day, 1 conversation per day. Now, that could be a text message, it could be an email. I want to have you actually have a phone call, and that's what we consider a conversation. We're actually on the phone or on FaceTime or on Zoom. But sometimes you need to produce a little bit of content to ignite those conversations. But if all you did was for the next 30 days is have 30 conversations every single day, let's even say just 20? Because there's 5 days a week and 4 weeks out of the month. So let's say 20 conversations. I would be shocked if you didn't get some sort of leads or opportunities from 20 conversations. I would be shocked. And so that's where you want to start. Now, how do you have these conversations? Because I'm not suggesting in these conversations that you start selling your friends and family. That's going to be weird. It's going to feel like you're some weird network marketer, and you don't want to do that. So there's 2 strategies that we teach our students in Fearless Coach Academy. The first is called a market research interview, and the second is called a connection call. Now, I'm going to start with a connection call because a connection call is often easier. What a connection call is where you reach out to somebody in your network. Could be a past coworker, could be an old boss of yours, a friend that you haven't talked to in years, or it could be somebody who's really close to you, a close friend today or a family member. And it's just connecting with them. It's catching up and hearing what's new and exciting in their world. And you can't fake this. You need to be genuine when you approach them with this. But you're reaching out just to connect and catch up and hear how things are going. And instead of you just bombarding them with your coaching business and all those things, start by being genuinely curious about what's new in their world. When you do that, and after about 10, 15, 20 minutes, the law of reciprocity naturally kicks in, and that person that you're talking to will reciprocate and say, oh my gosh, so enough about me. What is going on in your world? Fill me in. And now you can share with them. Now, this is the lowest pressure conversation you ever have. Why? Because it's not a sales call, right? It's not any discovery call or anything like that. It's just a connection call. So that's where you want to start. And I encourage you to think down and create a list of 10 people that you could have connection calls with today. Now, the second call is called a market research call, a market research interview. I've recommended this in my other videos, but the idea here is where you reach out to somebody who you genuinely feel you could either help with your coaching or that may be connected to somebody who you could help. So think of this as you reaching out to an advocate, somebody who believes in you, somebody who wants to see you win. And you reach out and you say, hey, listen, I'm looking for a quick favor. I respect you and I trust you. And for that reason, I want to interview you so that I can make this new coaching program that I'm developing as useful and valuable as possible. Do you have 10 minutes? Do you have 20 minutes? Do you have 30 minutes later this week or next week for us to connect? And in that market research interview, you actually interview them. You ask them strategic questions about their goals, their challenges. Hopefully, it all relates to the topic of your coaching, which, by the way, I'll share with you in a moment how to get our market research interview script, which is completely word for word. So if you want that, just comment script below and my team will send it to you. And what happens is at the end of that, you genuinely will get somebody who may either be interested in working with you or two, know somebody who is. And that's when you ask the $1 million question, which is something as simple as, now that you know a little bit about the program and who I'm helping, I'm curious, who do you know that you think would be interested? Who do you know that you think would benefit? Now, this doesn't require a funnel. This doesn't require a website or a logo or a business card. This requires courage. And if you don't have courage, you're not going to build a coaching business. So here's the first step that I invite you to take. Here's the first challenge that I invite you to step toward. And that is conducting these market research interviews with your network. And if you want to snag our word-for-word market research script for free, just click the link in the description below or just comment script below and my team will get it to you. The third step is to make your irresistible offer. Now, I'm going to share a story right now of when I signed my first client because it was almost by accident. So for me, when I started my coaching business, I was doing all the things wrong that I'm telling you not to do today. I was starting a website, I was blogging, I was working with a design company to figure out my logo, and none of that moved the needle. That kind of wasted 6 months of my life trying to build my coaching business. And then I had a mentor, Sean Stevenson, who goes, hey, listen, I want you to come to one of my events. It was actually his wife, Mindy's event called Heart Path in Sedona, Arizona. And I went there and super amazing experience, but I met this guy there. And this guy was looking for a health transformation coach. And at the time, I wasn't coaching coaches. I hadn't built a business yet, so I had no credibility to help others in that. But I had transformed my mindset and my health. And for that reason, I started in the health and kind of peak performance coaching niche. And this man, his name was Steve, and I developed kind of a connection with him over the few days. And again, it wasn't to like enroll him as a client. It was just to kind of connect and get to know him. And we stayed in touch a few weeks after that event. And he kind of confided in me that he was looking for some help. Now, at the time, I was terrified and I was nervous. I didn't know what my pricing was or what my offer was, but I had the conversation with him and the discovery call that I learned from a mentor of mine, and I made my offer. And I almost fumbled the price because it was so scary. The price that I wanted to charge is $500. And I remember saying the investment to work with me is for 3 months, it's $500 a month. And I had to mute myself because I was about to discount it and I was about to, try to oversell it. And I was shocked to experience that he waited for about 5 seconds. He said, cool, how do I sign up? And I got my first client. And I share this story because, number one, it is okay if it's uncomfortable for you to sign your first client. That's completely normal. If it wasn't, I would kind of be worried. but it is, and so that's okay. The second thing is that was the floor, because within a few weeks after coaching him, he said on one of my calls, Peter, please don't raise my rates, but you should be charging way more than just $500 a month. And that's what led to my second client and my third client at $1,000 a month. Now, does that mean you need to charge $500 a month for your first client or $1,000 a month? Of course not. What I advise many of our students to do, if you're just starting, now, if you have a ton of experience and credibility, if you've got 20, 30 years of mastery, and now you're turning that into a coaching and consulting business, then charge for your services because, again, just charge. But if you're just a newbie, right? If you're a 22-year-old life coach just starting, then get your first case study client. Offer it for free in exchange for a testimonial. Now, I wouldn't do that for your second or third or fourth client, but your first client, say, hey, listen, the normal pricing for my coaching is going to be $500, but because you're my first client, I'm putting together a new pilot program. I want to get a handful of clients that I can help create wins for. And so in exchange for your testimonial and hopefully a referral, I'm willing to give you a 100% discount or an 80% discount or a 50% discount, whatever that is. That is an irresistible offer, and it gets that client to commit to what? To being a testimonial and to sending you a referral. And now you just got in the game. You got your first paying client with that irresistible offer. Again, you don't need to do it for free. You may do it for an 80% discount, but don't let the price scare you at this stage of building your business. Remember that people pay attention to what they pay for. So if you are just doing free coaching, then you're going to find that you're going to get non-committed clients, and that's going to erode your confidence pretty quickly. So if you do it for 1 or 2 clients, that's okay, but then start building that courage to start charging for your services. So those are the 3 steps. I know I didn't talk about fancy funnels in this. I know I didn't talk about starting a YouTube channel. Just keep it simple. Number 1, work your warm network list first. Number 2, have 1 conversation per day. And number 3, make an irresistible offer. That's it. That's the shortest path to your first 3 paying clients. If you haven't yet and you want that market research interview script, just comment script below or snag it in the description. And if you want help customizing that script for your niche so that you know exactly what questions to ask, then schedule a free business brainstorm call with me so that we can map it out for you. Just click the link in the description or the comment below to schedule that free call. And if this video was useful, I want you to make sure to check out my free online course on how to start your coaching business and enroll your first paying client in the next 30 days. I go into a much more detail in that. You can subscribe to the channel as well through that course. So just click up here, watch that video, and I'll see you in the next video.